There's a few things that surprised me regarding the updates for Scream 7. Now, I know I'm a little bit late on this. I still suck when it comes to consistency, but it's going to take me forever to get that straight. By the time I do get it straight, it's probably going to be the end of time. Besides that, here's three things that surprised me about this. Um, I would say one, this is arguably the least surprising one. Um, so we do have Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown returning as Chad and Mindy. So that's good there. Now, are they going to get killed off in this one? It's a flip of a coin. I mean, it's a slasher film, so we know how it works with slasher films. Anybody could die. I mean, I even saw one article talking about the possibility of maybe possibly Sydney and or Gail dying. We know that Gail almost died in the last movie, but then again, a lot of them almost died multiple times. Um, the second thing that surprised me was the fact that so Sydney's husband, Mark, this is actually not going to be Mark Kincaid, played by Patrick Dempsey. This is going to be Mark Evans, played by Joel McHale. And, I was a little more surprised about that one because when Sydney mentioned Mark in Scream 5, that was like, it just made sense that it was going to be Mark Kincaid because, he was the officer, one of the officers from Scream 3. So I don't know if Patrick Dempsey's going to return to the franchise. Maybe Scream 3 was just a one time film for him in the Scream franchise. I don't know. I've just found that to be interesting. And then here's the one that surprised me the most. Here's the one that surprised me the very most. So we have Matthew Lillard and Scott Foley returning to reprise their roles as Stu Macher and Roman Bridger. Now, Stu Macher was one of the killers in the first Scream, as you already know. He was partnered with Billy Loomis, played by Skeet Ulrich, and Roman Bridger was the Ghostface in Scream 3. That was the only Scream movie so far to just have one killer. Every other movie had two killers, except for Scream 3, Scream 6 that had three of them. Now, I don't know how this is going to go. I find this to be very interesting because let me tell you, there's been multiple, and I've talked about this on the show before, because there's been multiple articles that were speculating and theorizing about, is Stu Macher really dead? We know that his head got crushed by the TV in the first film, and it's like you had one side of the internet, because it always comes down to three sides. It always comes down to three sides because one side is saying the oh, he's not really dead and he's going to return. Then there's another side that says, no, he's definitely dead and he's not going to return. And then there's the third side that says, okay, well, we don't know if he's really dead, so there could be that maybe possibility of him returning. And if he just never returns, well, just assume that he's dead. So, most of you already know, I went to the Fan Expo Comic Con in Chicago last year. And they had the Scream panel, and everybody was there. All the original cast members were there, except for Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox and David Arquette. So you had Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, Rose McGowan, Randy, played by Jamie Kennedy. Jamie Kennedy was there, and Laurie Metcalf, who played Billy's mom, Nancy, she was there. And also Lee Waddell, who's one of the stunt people for Ghostface. And in that discussion, Matthew Lillard actually said this, quote unquote. He said, I don't know if I'm doing the next movie. I'll think about it. Maybe I am. And the crowd went wild. They clapped for it. They cheered for it. And in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, I think that he's just throwing that out there as a teaser and making people think that he's going to return. And he's actually not because his character's dead. But then this article comes out, and you had all these articles from, Screen Rant and what was that, horror? It's a movie website that's geared to horror films. I forget what it's called. But all these different articles were confirming that, oh, yeah, he is returning. Now, I have a theory on how this is going to go in terms of how their characters are going to be presented in there. I think it's going to be very similar to, how do I put this? I think it's going to be like how Sam was hallucinating about Billy in the fifth and sixth movies. And I think Sydney is going to have that similar experience because of how many, she's dealt with every Ghostface in the franchise. So it's like dealing with Billy, Stu, Nancy, Mickey, Roman, Jill, Charlie, Richie, Amber. She dealt with every Ghostface except for the last three. And I think that kind of messes with her a bit. And who knows? Gail might experience the same thing. Who knows? I think it's going to be a hallucination presentation, just like it was with Billy in Screams 5 and 6. That's just my theory on it. Now, a bunch of fans might have different theories and they can speculate differently as to how that's going to go. I think it's safe to say that I'm definitely a little bit more confident about the idea that Roman Bridger is going to be a hallucination because, let's face it, we've seen him get shot multiple times. He got shot in the head. As Dewey had said before, you shoot him in the head. That's how you make sure that they're dead. So, how could he have possibly survived a shot to the head? That's especially taking all those shots to the chest and stomach. But with Stu, I get the argument that there's a little bit more of an open interpretation in terms of the argument is a little bit more open is, well, when the TV crushed his head, that doesn't necessarily mean it killed him. It just means he was seriously injured and maybe he was hospitalized for a long time and then went into hiding and, whatever. Been in a coma for some untold amount of time. I don't know. But I thought I had seen one article, and maybe this was fake because I don't see any real confirmation of it yet, unless somebody corrects me on it. I don't see anything that confirms that Skeet Ulrich is going to be in the 7th movie. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I just thought I had seen that somewhere, but maybe it's not written in stone. But I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting. So as far as the other cast members, we have Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox are going to reprise their roles as Sydney and Gale. We already went over Mindy and Chad. Of course, Roger L. Jackson, still the voice of Ghostface. And then you have two young actresses by the names of McKenna Grace and Isabel May. Apparently, they're playing the roles of Sydney's daughters. And then you have an actor by the name of, let me go back to cast right here. Apparently, there's a young guy actor by the name of Asa German, and I don't yet know. I don't see what's his character's name going to be. I'm assuming that he's going to be the boyfriend to one of the daughters, and just throwing it out here because they said this in most of the Scream movies. Never trust a love interest. Well, we've seen that happen twice. Billy Loomis and Richie Kirsch. But to be fair, also Derek, who was Sydney's boyfriend in Scream 2, he was not a killer. As with Sam's boyfriend from the 6th film, Danny, he wasn't a killer either. So the whole idea of not trusting the love interest, it's not necessarily proof that the boyfriend or love interest in every movie is going to be the killer or one of the killers. But I'm just going to throw that out there as my very early prediction. This movie is not going to be released for another year. I speak for all Scream fans when I say I cannot wait. We have an actress by the name of Anna Camp. I don't know what role she's going to play just yet. We have Sam, is it Rechner? Don't know what he's going to play. Let me see. He looks old enough. No. Okay, so he might actually be a boyfriend to one of the daughters. I'm not sure how this one is going to go. Well, he's a young guy too, so maybe one of them is the boyfriend to one of the daughters and the other one is the boyfriend to the other daughter. Not sure. We have Celeste O'Connor, young actress. She looks like she's a friend to Mindy, Chad, or the daughter. She might be in that whole group. Who knows? She could be one of the killers. I'm assuming that this movie is going to have 2 killers. Now, if it's going to be 2 killers, I'm assuming it's going to be, I'm just going to throw this out here, her and Asa German, or Asa German and Sam Rechner, or Sam and Celeste. It's way too early to predict this stuff, and this could go any way, 1,000 ways to Sunday. So that looks like it looks like the cast for this movie is complete. Mark Consuelos and Joel McHale is going to be Sydney's husband. And we have somebody named Mark Consuelos. I don't know. Who knows? He could be the opening kill. So, of according to Deadline, we have another person join the cast, Ethan Embry. Who knows what role he's going to play. So, I mean, other than that, can't wait for this movie to come out. Of course, you all know I'm going to be there opening weekend. I'm going to try to be there opening night, but if not, for sure, that opening weekend. And yeah, that about sums it up. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, give me your thoughts. If you're watching this on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube. The link is in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. So that's about it for now. Until next time, stay tuned.